All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So the prejudging for the 2022 Tampa Pro Men's Open Bodybuilding just wrapped up, and it was a really interesting first call-out. So the initial first call-out included Phil Klahar, Kamal El-Gargni, Quinton Araya, a.k.a. Quint Beastwood, and Akim Williams. And they did an amended version of that call-out with your top three, where they took out Phil Klahar, and they still had Kamal El-Gargni, Quint Beastwood, and, of course, Akim Williams. And that, to me, was a very interesting top three. There's a lot you can say about these three guys. Obviously, Kamal, to me, stood out as the most conditioned guy of the three, especially when you had him in the center between those two guys. You could really see what kind of shape Kamal was in comparatively to Akim and Quinton. But I will say, I think this is probably the best version of Quint Beastwood that we've ever seen. And I think he looked really improved here. His lower body looked a lot better than we'd seen it in the past. His conditioning was good. I was very impressed in a lot of his front poses with the size of his waist. He had a very, especially comparatively to Akim. Akim is known for being a bigger guy that has a small waist, but Quinton is a pretty big dude, and he's got probably the smallest waist on that stage, even smaller so than Kamal El-Gargni. So I thought that was pretty impressive. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of people thought that Akim was going to come in and win this show. And the question was really kind of exactly what I said it was going to be. The question was, now that we know Kamal was doing it, is this going to be a situation where you have a guy like Akim that's probably close to 100 pounds heavier than Kamal, but gets out-conditioned by Kamal, and that's going to be a thing where Kamal would be able to come in and win the show? And that's what I think happened here. I wouldn't say that Akim really looked too far off of how he usually looks. I think this was pretty par for the course for how Akim looks. I wouldn't say he was bad or good. He kind of looked like he always looks. But you put him next to a guy like Kamal, and you can really see the difference in conditioning. And I really think the condition was such a stark contrast between Akim and Kamal that it's going to be enough to give Kamal the victory. And obviously Kamal, he's 51 years old. He's been doing this for a while. He's been very consistent with his conditioning. And that's what I said going into this show. Akim has been a guy that he hasn't been consistent with conditioning. He has nailed it or almost nailed it a couple of times, but since then he hasn't really done it again. And honestly, looking at them in that top three call out, I would say that Quinton even looked more conditioned than Akim, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a shot that Quinton places over Akim if Akim doesn't get better by the finals, which I don't know if he is going to or not. He doesn't really have a track record of doing that. And again, I do think this is probably the best version of Quinton we've ever seen. So if Quinton were to maybe get sharper for the finals and Akim were to slip a little bit, I think that you could see Quinton in second place. But right now, I think they've got it Kamal winning, Akim in second, and Quinton in third. That's how I think they've got it on the scorecards right now, and we're going to find out, obviously, today what those scores were. That's how I think the scoring is at prejudging right now. I think this top three lineup here is a perfect example of size doesn't always matter, even though it is bodybuilding. This is one of those situations where you have a smaller guy, and he's not really smaller pound for pound. He's just smaller from a height standpoint. I'd say for Kamal, and what I mean is like relative to the size of his frame, he's probably got the same amount of muscle to frame ratio as a guy like Quinton or Akim, but it's just on a smaller frame, so he weighs less, he's more compact, and he looks obviously smaller on stage. But Kamal, I just don't see how he doesn't win this. He's very complete, he's very well proportioned, very mature muscle. Conditioning, I think, outshined both guys, Quinton and Akim, by a lot. He's a former 212 Olympia winner. He's been a top three finisher at the 212 Olympia for the past 3 years. I think this is going to be a Sean Clarita at the Legion Sports Festival type of situation where he beats guys that are a lot bigger than him off that conditioning. That's what Sean Clarita did, and I think that's exactly what Kamal is going to do here. And I'm not going to be shocked or disappointed at all when they announce Kamal the winner of this open debut that he's making. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Who do you guys have winning, Kamal, Akim, or even Quint Beastwood? Let me know. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already for more updates on this show. Like the video. It helps out a lot. And check out the new merch. As always, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power. Signing out. New merch in the link in the description below.
Dancing in the good light. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. And everybody's dancing